Hello guys and welcome back to the Simply Code programming channel. This is Vikesh and let's get started with today's topic, which is about for loops in Java. So far we covered about while loops and do while loops, and we also saw different examples of using different types of data structures like arrays. But one of the core requirements whenever you are working with any kind of collection is to iterate over it, exactly similar to what I explained in the do while and while lectures, that you would often require to iterate over a collection or a data structure. And for that, one of the most sophisticated and easiest way to do that is using for loops. So let's understand the syntax of for loop first, and then we will also look at an example of it in the Eclipse IDE. So I have just opened the official Java docs here. So if you see, this is basically the syntax of a for loop statement. So let's understand it. And let's also try to compare it with a while loop so that we can understand how it compares with the while loop. So if we see the syntax, we first see the term initialization, then we see the term termination, and then we see the term called increment. Now, if I try to compare it with a while loop, there also you basically did these three things. You first initialized a variable outside the while loop, which is called initialization, and then you wrote a condition, which is your termination condition. You wrote a condition saying, let's say, while I is greater than 10 or while I is less than 10. So that is the condition, which is also the termination statement. The loop will continue to execute till that condition evaluates to false, and that's when the loop terminates. That's why we call it as termination. And then the third piece of it is the increment, the I++, which we used to do in the while loops. So these three portions together make or constitute any kind of loop in any kind of programming language. And for loop, if you see, the kind of code which you use to write in a while loop in multiple lines, where you first initialize a variable, then you write a condition in the while block, and then inside the while block, you use to increment the variable. All of that can be done in a single line in the for loop. And that's why I said it is the most sophisticated and easiest way to write loops in Java. So you write all of these three things, the initialization, the condition, and the increment or decrement values in the single line, and then you start with the curly braces and you write the code which you want to keep executing till the condition evaluates to false. That's the basic syntax of it. So let us try to understand this with the help of an example. So here I have opened a class which is called for demo, and this is a class which will demonstrate the usage of a for loop. So again, we have a public static void main method, which you can see here, which is the entry point. And then I use the keyword for. I put standard braces or the brackets, and then I do the initialization. So this part is the initialization part. You initialize the variable. So I just say int I equal to 1, initialization done. You end it with a semicolon so that it is a single statement understood by Java. And then you write this condition, which is your evaluation slash termination condition. So this condition is basically the deciding factor of how long your loops should run. It's exactly similar to what you used to write in the while block. If I just show you the example, this is what we used to do. So we did the initialization at line number 7. Then we wrote this termination condition inside the while syntax or the construct. And then we did the increment here. So we are doing all of these three steps, but we are doing it in a single line. So this is the condition, and then we write our increment or decrement values, which are going to change the evaluation condition every time at every step. So we are saying I++. So technically what I am saying here is that start with I equal to 1 and then check the condition I less than 10. So in the first step, it will be checking if 1 is less than 10. If the condition holds true, go inside the for loop, execute the statement at line number 7, and then go back to this particular statement. So we do I++. So I becomes 2, and then you again go back to the condition. And again you check if 2 is less than 10. Yes, it is. So again you go inside the for loop and do whatever is written there. There can be multiple statements here. For now, I have just written one system.out.println. So that happens. And once all the execution is finished inside the block, it will again go back to the increment. Does the increment, so 2 plus 1 becomes 3, again does the evaluation, and if the condition holds true, it will again go inside. So this will continue. This condition checking, execution, and increment will continue till the time this condition holds true. The moment this condition becomes false, the control will come out at line number 9. So that's the basic anatomy and control flow. It's very important to understand the control flow of a for loop. Otherwise, you might end up into a program which is forever running and which will just eat up all the memory available in your JVM. So be very sure of what you write in your for loop. Be very sure of especially these two parts, the condition and the increment or decrement. So this is very important piece. The initialization happens only once, and then this condition evaluates. If the condition holds to true, some code executes, goes back to the changing statement, which can be an increment, decrement, whatever, and again compares the updated value with the condition. So this will keep happening. Let's run this code to interpret the output. So I will right click, go to run as Java application. And if I interpret the output here, I can see that it started with count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. It stopped at 9. So what happened there? Let's try to evaluate the termination condition. So let's say I has become 9 and 9 is less than 10. So it goes inside and it prints count is 9, which is I. Then it goes here and it says 9 plus 1. I plus plus means 9 plus 1, the current value of I plus 1. It becomes 10, and then it again compares the condition. So now 10 is not less than 10. 10 is equal to 10, but it is not less than 10. So the condition becomes false, and count is 10 is never printed because this condition has become false. It will jump out. So let's say if I do this, if I put an equal to here, and if I now execute the same program, this time I will see 10 here. And because I have said that, okay, check the condition, if 10 is less than equal to 10, that will become true. It will print count is 10. Then it will increment and the count will become 11. The I will become 11. And then it will check 11 is less than equal to 10. No, it is not. So condition becomes false and the control comes out of the loop. So that's how you should always try to interpret the loops. You can also run some infinite loops. For example, if I say I equal to 1, I leave it that, and I say I minus minus. So what happens? I equal to 1, 1 is less than 10. Yes, it goes here, prints the value, and then I decrement the value. I don't increment the value, I decrement the value. So whatever value comes out will always be less than 10, and this loop will run forever. For fun, let's try to run this, and I will have to kill this program manually, but just to show you what happens and what you should not do in your Java program. So you see, it will continuously keep printing the values till the program runs out of memory, till it eats up all the available memory. It is forever running. It will never stop because the condition will never evaluate to false. This condition will forever be true. So the loop will run forever. So I'm just going to kill the program, but this is something which you should avoid whenever you are writing Java code. And this happens quite often with beginner programmers. So this is all I wanted to cover in today's session. We talked in detail about the for loop. And in the next session, we are going to talk about another interesting way of writing for loops, which is also called enhanced for loops. If you like this video, a thumbs up would be massively appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe to Simply Code for more programming related videos. Thank you, and we'll meet again in the next session.